Everybody, welcome back to the SquadOps podcast. I'm one of the hosts, Captain Morgan. Tonight we have kind of a smaller group. Aussie Wookie is running a little behind. Fire Valor is out of town, out in the woods, going camping and doing all sorts of fun things. And Frost has got a family thing that he's dealing with. So tonight it's just myself, Culper, and our guest, Carzzn. You guys want to say hi?
How you doing?
Welcome,
Appreciate
Carzzn.
you having me.
Of course. You don't have to drop your voice an octave just because you're on stream, Carzzn. It's okay. Um, couple little announcements here. Tomorrow we've got Superfob Saturday at 1:45 East Coast time. It's going to be a fun operation. I believe it's involving Galactic Contentions mod. Yeah, it is. So it should be a really, really good one. If you guys want to come check that out, I really recommend that you do. You can go to our website, squadops.gg, and sign up and come out, hang out, have fun. On Sunday, we have Tactical Situations course being put on by SOT. On Wednesday, we have Operation Road Rash, and then next Saturday is a new operation called Moving Day. I don't know much about that one other than it's WPMC and British forces on, I believe, Fallujah. So that should be, or not Fallujah. What is this one on? Mudaha. So that should be another great one. So if you guys want to come check those out, we've got those coming up. Go to the website, squadops.gg. Anyway, circling back, this is episode 9. And as I mentioned before, our guest host tonight is Carzzn. Thanks for taking the time out of your day to come hang out with Culper and I and chat with the podcast group. And we're going to have a good time tonight.
Absolutely, man. We'll run it up just like any other Friday we've been having.
Yeah, exactly. It's been a long week for everybody. I didn't have much travel this week, but I certainly had a lot of things to do, a lot of people, a lot of places. I sent my my sleep schedule to Culper, and he told me to go fuck myself, which is cool. I really appreciated that. Thank you, Culper.
Anytime, man.
Anyway, he was complaining about only getting 3 hours of sleep last night, but I'm sure he got 9 the night before.
I mean, I can show you the receipts I got. I'm only an hour ahead of you in terms of sleep.
This might be the most underslept cohort of our current ops members.
Legit. And I've actually never felt more energized during the workday. The amount of caffeine and energy I'm ingesting, it's insane.
Yeah, it's interesting. In there. I got this Apple Watch, I don't know, 3-4 weeks ago. I had a deal through Verizon. It was you buy one watch and then you get another watch free. So my oldest daughter wanted an Apple Watch. I bought her an Apple Watch. I thought, I'll give it a try. And I was not too sold on it to begin with, but the longer I've had it, it's been great. I normally wear more classic timepieces than anything else. I've got this. I've got a Rolex in the safe back there, and some Casios and things like that. But I really actually enjoyed this Apple Watch. It's been nice having the decibel meter, especially when I'm working around some of the construction sites that I'm managing. The sleep schedule thing, but the thing that really got me was the heart rate monitor. Recognized pretty quickly that maybe I need to lower my dosage of caffeine because my resting heart rate was like 45, but
shit.
During the day I get peaks up to 110 when I'm just sitting in a chair driving along as I'm getting more and more aggravated with drivers. I was like, that's slightly problematic. So
you're stressed out. You should relax. It's like, thanks, Apple Watch.
Yeah, tell the asshole that's in front of me brake checking me right now.
Yeah. Can you solve this problem for me?
Tell the left lane driver that's doing 17 miles an hour under the speed limit to get out of my way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But when I first started working, man, I had the Whoop. If you.
Oh yeah.
And they're charging you $30 a month for your sleep data and all this other stuff. And I was like really getting into my health stuff because I just turned like 23 or something, and I was like, all right, I want to be like in the best shape I can before I go to New York. And started my internship, and it was just like 1.5 hours of sleep, 3 hours of sleep. Like, you didn't sleep. Like, are you all right? And then it started to actually stress me out more. And I was like, I'm paying to be told that I'm not taking care of myself. Like, this is not what I need right now.
Maybe I don't need this data. Maybe I'll circle back to this in 4 or 5 years when I've actually settled down. Yeah, no, I get
Great
it, man.
product, great product, great service, but it made my life worse. And I was like, I don't
Yeah.
need this.
Oh yeah, I get that. Well, it looks like Ozzy actually made it home. I don't know if he's here in voice with us, but he said he was going to be home here in a couple minutes, so he should be here any time now. He'll pop in with some snarky remark sooner rather than later, I'm sure. Anything?
He,
Okay.
I think he said his laptop. I can't pull it up on stream,
Well,
but
I'm actually already
oh, he's
here,
here. Okay.
but
Maybe-
my laptop is updating.
Maybe the sharks are eating his internet cable. I'm not sure.
Darn.
Nar.
Bit of A,
Anyway,
bit of B. Laptop's updating to get my beautiful face.
that's fair.
And apart.
Nope.
Oh, there he
Sharks are
goes.
definitely eating the internet. Yep,
Sharks
there
are
it
getting
goes.
them.
Yeah, I
was
did
gonna chime in
something
with my watch. God damn it!
I actually did something between this last podcast and now, because I think the last one was before Easter, right? Just before, roughly, or was it just after Easter? I don't know. Anyway, I trimmed my beard. I trimmed 6 inches of hair off of my face, which was impressive. So I thought I'd mention that. I got another 7 months to grow it out before Christmas again, but we'll see. I may just hack it all off if the summer gets any hotter.
Yeah, I feel that.
So tonight's going to be a little more chill. We're going to have some drinks, adult beverages. Cheers. We'll hang out. We're going to chat. We're going to talk about tax fraud. I mean, investment opportunities.
Same thing.
We're going to talk about how to gamble responsibly. I mean, strategies in which you may win at little games called blackjack or craps. And at the end of it, we're going to call Gamblers Anonymous, and every one of us is going to get signed up. So it should be good.
I like that plan. That sounds like a good plan.
No more parlays on UFC fights anymore, I guess.
Why?
Whoa.
I mean, if we're going Gamblers Anonymous route, we got to do the responsible thing. At least
I'm
give
not,
it up for.
I'm not calling them.
No, I said we're all as a group going to call in.
You did not say that was a condition for the podcast.
But I just said it on streams. Now we got if we don't do it now, we're
We'll discuss. We'll discuss. It's not a problem unless you have a problem, right?
It's not a problem unless you admit to there being a problem. Exactly. Well, anyway, I guess the first series of questions I got for you, man, is can you give us a little bit of background about yourself, what you feel comfortable telling stream?
Yeah. Well, it's nice to be here with you guys. I'm Carzzn, from Austin, Texas. Grew up there for 23 years or so. Studied biochem in undergrad and then finance and economics in my master's. God willing, had an opportunity to not go to dental school and made it up to New York to do investment banking for one of the, I would say, leading firms. Think Goldman, Morgan Stanley. And we've been doing transactions north of $1 billion for the last little over 4 years now. And went through the internship, analyst, senior analyst, associate series, and been working with some really bright minds and enjoying New York City to where you can. You can't take the Texas out of the kids, so it's been an interesting experience. But I've found really, really good friendships, time, and unique work and interest opportunities here with SquadOps. And so I've had a lot more fun hanging out with you guys than being up in the club or shelling out too much money at Nobu every weekend. Staying away from, I'd just say, the crowd, and looking forward to getting back home one day to spend more time with my family.
Good.
Nice.
Man. I'm glad to hear that you're enjoying the life that you should be living and hanging out with your friends here at SquadOps, man. That's always a blessing for sure. It's a little bit of background about you. What if you were going to give someone a piece of financial advice, whether it be personal or otherwise, what would it be? What's the most important thing that you think that people should know about finances?
Stay out of debt unless you have capital working to pay the debt off. So,
Okay, that's a good answer.
if you really want to get this car or do this thing, like you need to have your money in order and be making money off of your existing capital. It can, in some degree, to supplement like the interest payment that you're going to pay there. So that way you always come out like net even on your financial decision. Which is hard, and not always feasible. But we can get into maybe more details on that. But I just say like stay out of debt or have a plan to tackle it with actual work set up behind it to take it down. Because debt can be used, like leverage can be beneficial if you have the right approach to using it. But most people, I think, including myself, like need to get money to go to college. It's like, okay, well, how I'm gonna take on that debt? What's my plan to take it down? You know what I mean? That kind of thing is an investment in yourself can make a big difference. But yeah, I would just say stay out of debt if you can, unless you have a plan.
I agree. It's one thing I've noticed to state, debt is a tool. It's another thing to actually recognize how effective that tool can be.
Mm-hmm.
I, during my first business that I started up post-COVID, I really had this mentality that I wanted to, go based off of the system of if I don't have cash for it, I don't buy it. And
Yeah.
I never leveraged anything for the first year, maybe 18 months of that ownership of that business. And we were doing a lot of work. And where I found myself in a point where I thought, okay, maybe I'm stable enough at this point that I should leverage things was we had a pretty bad hurricane down here. And I had an arborist business, and I had an opportunity to do a lot of cleanup work around here, but I didn't have the equipment necessary to do it. And I did a lot of research on my own, and like most people, debt is a hard thing to understand. It's not just the fact that you're buying something and you're paying someone back with a little bit of interest attached to it. There's oftentimes a lot of other stipulations for certain things. You've got to make, the payment has to be this minimum in order to achieve this result. Or, if you want to pay down the balance faster, you've got to pay more than what the minimum is, but they don't tell you that on, your declaration sheet. You just
the covenants and
gotta figure it out.
stipulations can really make or break an opportunity.
And I did a lot of research, and I decided I was going to buy a Bobcat. I bought a pretty nice newer unit, tracked Bobcat, and I took a loan out on it, and I did some digging on it. My credit was pretty decent, and basically the answer I got was like, hey, you can apply for a zero interest loan. And I was like, oh, that's cool. So it's a zero interest loan for the lifetime of the loan. And then you start actually digging into the the part of it. It's like, well, it's actually only zero interest for 36 months.
Yeah.
The total length of the loan is 60 if you only pay the $1,066 a month towards this Bobcat. You're going to end up paying for 24 months worth of interest at like 11% or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's like, it'd be great if they let you know that in the beginning, but unless you really kind of dug into it, you didn't know what it was.
Well, that's why consumer debt's dangerous, right?
I
Like
know,
that's the
I
thing.
know.
That's the thing. Like if you're doing a transaction level debt agreement, like you have countless lawyers, bankers, and full teams of sponsors, like doing the deep dive on understanding every nook and cranny of it.
Mhm.
If you just like to your point, Cap, I got furniture here from an apartment in New York, and I got 12 months no interest, right? And it ended up like I had it set up and working, but the stipulation was like as of like the date that you signed it, it's in the start of that month, so it wasn't like a full calendar year, right? And I actually got fleeced by like a 2-week period because I thought,
Lord.
you know what I'm saying, like of how we were paying it, and I ended up getting torched and had to pay the interest on the furniture. And that wasn't a big deal; it was just a couch, but it was like if I don't have to pay any interest and I pay the payments down, sure. I bought it on the 15th, and then it's like when we're going to pay everything, okay, sure. But I actually needed to prepay in the month prior for that period in order
That
to get
2-week section.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's why you try to pay
It's-
more than the minimum so you can catch up and get ahead of that extra month.
100%.
At least that's my view
100%.
on it.
Well, there's little things too that people don't understand, especially with like, a house purchase as an example is a great thing. When you look at like a 15, a 20, or a 30-year mortgage, people don't realize that mortgage is there, but it's also oftentimes there's no penalties for paying it off early. Now, every person's mortgage is a little bit different, but if you can afford to pay the thing off early, pay it off early. It doesn't affect you, and in fact, you'll pay a lot less for that house than you would have otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
the simple trick of like, hey, live below your means. You know, go buy a $750,000 house just because you're qualified. Buy a $300,000 house and pay payments as if you're paying for a $750,000 house. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
It's as simple as it is getting the 15-year mortgage, right, and just paying a single month additional per year.
Mhm.
You'll save yourself a lot of money. What people also don't think about when they're like taking on a big mortgage for a home, you're paying off the interest generally first on a certain amount capital, or at least from the ones I've understood. And so, you think you maybe do this extra payment or whatever, but the bank is locked in a floor interest. They have a floor that they're going to make profit on no matter what, or take your home. And people don't spend enough time on that. So that's why I think it's something like important to like really become financially literate with respect to what you owe. And that's not even getting into what you earn, right? Like I think it's half of Americans are in debt right now, including credit card debt.
Probably over half, but yeah.
You don't, are you referring to net worth or just being debt in general?
Just credit card
debt.
Like credit card and other debts outside of a mortgage.
It's definitely more than half.
I read an article maybe 6-9 months ago. Like the average consumer debt, just credit card debt, was like $20,000 per American, which is an insane number. It's an insane number. Like, and here's the thing: I'm doing fine now, but there have been times where it's like, all right, I'm gonna put this month's, water bill and this month's gas bill on this credit card because I don't have the money to afford to pay it. I'm at the point now where I don't have to do that. The bills are paid and just come out. And it's all, auto draft, and I'm so grateful for that. So I don't have to worry about any of those things. But, at the same time, you could really find yourself in a pickle. Really find yourself in a pickle.
Oh yeah.
I got a buddy who he got out, and the first thing he did was like spend money and buy a house. He did the sensible thing, and then he paid it off so quick that the bank kept sending him like, "Hey, you could like refinance this house if you want, and we'll give you money." It's like he's like, "No, why would I do that?" And he paid it off so quick that when he went and did he bought his next house, the bank was like, "Fucking, we'll give you up to I think like 30% or whatever." Like, obviously there's a bracket. Like, all right, if you earn this much, you can only have this much. They're like, you paid that other house off so fast that we're happy to give you like a 40% bracket. And I think it pumped them up to like $2 million. And he's all the way up in Cairns, which is like a country. It's like Florida in Australia, but housing is cheaper up there because it's all. So that's the dangerous spiders, rainforest, and floods. Like, so
no one's there to help you.
$2 million there is there's an absurd amount of money up in that area. He's like, what the fuck? But he ended up flipping the bank anyway. He's like, no, I'm gonna go somewhere else. So they were like, fuck. But he just, he took his obviously his rating. Yeah.
Yeah. If you take that offer to another bank,
which is what he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take this today unless you need it. Do you want the business?
Yeah.
And especially collateralized loans like a mortgage. They're like, oh yeah, we'll take your house. Easy,
so according to Business Insider, the average debt is 105. This includes mortgages and auto loans, student loans, credit cards. The average amount of debt is 105 grand per person.
Oh my!
But the credit card debt is 6,700. So
6,700.
So it's a very small percentage.
$6,700. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say student loans are 35 grand. So they're obviously a significant
that number
portion.
Doesn't surprise me because I'm sure the majority of people that have student loans are much greater than 37,000. I mean, if you looked at the average
right
of people that have student loan debt, what is the average number? I mean, doctors, lawyers,
right?
Physicians, nurses, people with technical skill sets that require $300,000 in school debt. I mean, that's got to be a larger percentage of that. Maybe not. I don't know.
Well, and that's
then
also
you have
more...
on the flip side. Does that include trade schools? Things like that. I'm not sure.
Well, then that's also more dangerous.
Also, if you drop out, you still have a debt.
So
isn't that the only debt that can follow you if you die?
It's the only
Is
debt
uni-
that's
is
not, at least in the
university
U.S.,
fees?
that's non-bankruptable. So you can't go into bankruptcy with student
If
loan
it's a
debt.
federal loan.
Yes, correct.
I think it's if it's a federal loan.
Which
And
if I'm not mistaken, the majority of student loans are.
we don't have to get into it, but since we're having bourbon, I mean, I don't think we trust the government with finances. But that's neither here nor there.
I mean,
It was a great comedian that talked about not trusting the government and conspiracy theories.
Well,
It goes like I'm in charge of one person, they're in charge of 6 million, and I love my son, but I lie to that motherfucker all the time. And you think the government's just out here batting 100? No way. I'm
Absolutely
like,
not.
that is
Nobody can.
the best analogy to ever use. Yeah.
have you heard Robin Williams' analogy?
No.
It's the definition of the word politics, right? So it's poly meaning many, and ticks being blood-sucking creatures. That's the definition
I
of
like
politics.
True.
Good.
Real
Well, they're not all bad.
real quick, I wanted to tie into one of the pieces that Lon said, and I think Flash also had a question.
Well, my statuesque appearance with my new beard trim. Yep, I noticed that as well.
Your trim beard. I think it
Lon
looks
had
better.
said that
You look less homeless.
people
Perfect.
farming has been and will continue to be a very lucrative business model, and I do view
sure.
like to that point, like debt is kind of like that, and I mean, you're a slave to the lender, right? And if you can either use debt as a tool, or you're gonna owe somebody for a long time. Like the credit card piece that Culper mentioned, at $6,700 a person on average, or to Flash's point, $1.2 trillion of credit card debt. You talk about credit card debt clipping 14, and this is generous, 14%.
Yeah,
generous. Like some cards go up to 21, depending on your credit score beforehand.
I mean,
but you're
that's
talking
for a
about
used
paying-
car for sure. But with a newer car, the interest rates are a lot less. But I get your point.
No, for a credit card debt.
Oh, credit card, absolutely.
Credit card debt, right?
Yeah,
so
I'm
if you
sorry.
talk
Car.
about paying that off, right? I mean, if you're clipping 14% a year, right, on $6,700, I mean, like it's very hard to get ahead because you're having to pay technically what you would say is like your monthly minimum. You've got to pay 6 months of that basically at a time to get it down to zero at a manageable level, because you're just paying interest first, or to basically satisfy your liquidation requirement. And they're still just going to keep tacking on more interest. And so if you don't, you will get interest building on interest.
Right.
And that's where it gets scary. Like that's a scary, scary setup. So I
Well,
know we're early on, but that's the biggest thing. If people can't figure that out, you're going to be stuck in a trap. And if there's any financial advice, to stay out of the trap and just be positive,
That's why debt consolidation has become such
All
a
we
big
do is
thing.
win.
That wasn't a thing until the late '90s. Debt consolidation. A lot of that proliferated off of a necessity of, all right, I've got a car loan, I've got a house loan, I've got 3 credit cards, I have a personal loan from a bank, I've got lines of credit out with Lowe's and Home Depot and Menards and whoever else, and they're looking at this and they go, I've got $400,000 in debt here, and they're variable interest rates across the board. Let me do this debt consolidation loan, and I'll take a $500,000 loan out for $400,000 worth of debt. And then they go, oh well, I've got $100,000 that I can just go spend now. And that's just that mentality that kind of happens when people are given money sometimes, which is it's an interesting phenomenon for sure. And I don't know if it's there's got to be some. I'm sure somebody in chat will bring it up, but there's got to be a word for that, right? Whether it's the gambler's fallacy or whatever, there's got to be a word for it out there, but not sure what that is.
The shit I'm seeing today is you can lay away a fucking burrito at Chipotle. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Half the people at Coachella this year did a payment plan. Vacations
there's
do not
like a
go
whole
on
thing about
debt,
Coachella.
No.
Apparently there's a whole thing about Coachella, like where they finance like so many people now to the point where it's like like it. If this falls apart, it'll actually like bankrupt far more people than they like actually know. Like
Have
it'll
ever
be like
or-
we've made our own little we've made our own little dragon that isn't really reported on because it doesn't need to be because it's like
It's
you're
a private
financing
company.
a festival. Yeah,
There was
exactly.
another
You're doing it
article.
through them, so they're like,
It was the
Coachella
largest.
can own your house.
Yeah, it's the largest non-bank bank in America, and it's Starbucks. So Starbucks will let you load your Starbucks My app thing, which I'm guilty of doing,
Yeah.
because you get rewards points. But you can only get 2 rewards points if you put money on their app. You get 1 if you just use the app to pay with your credit card. And it's a convenient thing to do. Load $25 on there. Go once a week, get yourself a little iced mocha latte or whatever it is that you like. Ginger snap, orange peel blossom, pearl
We
buttons.
get it. You're a white girl at heart.
That's Ozzy's drink of choice. I've heard him order it many times.
Don't fucking put this
Um,
on me.
But
I mean, see,
I'm
I got
drinking
the
black
are
coffee.
you
use the
drinking the
app too.
refreshers? You drinking
Yeah,
the
I
refreshers?
use the app too, man. Right?
Yeah.
Because it's like I let them hold on to my money while I have it in there when I want to drink. But it makes it so much easier to check out because I scan. I also don't have to pay a tip
Convenience.
because I'm not using the Visa machine that they're using to scrape money off the top of every tip. And they have my name, everything I want, or I'm on the way, I'm in the car on the way to the office. I hit it. We have a Starbucks in our lobby. I hit that, and I show up. My drink's ready to go. And so it's like, it makes sense as a consumer if you're going to pay out the ass for coffee, which nobody should be doing in the first place. But since I'm lazy and sleep deprived, I'm not lazy, but I'm not willing to take care of the things I should do at home to maximize my amount of sleep. I'm willing to pay the convenience costs for that, but you're so right, Cap. Like the amount of capital they can deploy and use on a daily basis, because what they hold in their books, what you've got in your app is just a little number, right? They take that and they go use it, and then they'll give you the coffee later.
Yeah.
That's what's happening.
That's what I was reading on this. It was a series of articles that this guy wrote about, and I'm trying to get my Google to go to dark mode because you guys make fun of me whenever the bright light hits my face, but I found the article and one of them, and this guy wrote a series of them, and they were really interesting. It was talking about the breakdown between traditional banks, hard money lenders, and it was actually talking about Starbucks itself. And Starbucks in 2022, which the number has increased 3 times that amount since then, to 2.7, right? It essentially has their rewards members comprise 53% of revenue in U.S. company-operated stores. That means that 53% of the revenue generated by Starbucks comes from, in the U.S., comes from their rewards members. So everybody's using this app 53% of the time. Every time a customer comes through, ordering putting your order in ahead of time, whatever it is, it's 53% of the time. In 2022, it was $1.7 billion loaded on Starbucks accounts, waiting to be spent in its stores.
Mm-hmm.
That's the number just sitting cash in hand. People have said, "Hey, we're going to prepay for Starbucks drinks to the tune of $1.7 billion." That's insane. That is an insane amount of money for a single company to have as just cash reserves, because that's essentially what it is. It's debt that's owed eventually. But just like anything, people misplace their Starbucks gift card all the time. Maybe there was $50 or $100 on there. I mean, they're banking on you not spending it, essentially. But yeah, Starbucks holds more cash than many banks, consumer cash held by institutions in 2016. It's greater than Customers Bank, Green Dot, Bank Corp, and American Express. It had more cash reserves than American Express. If that doesn't tell you something, I don't know what it does.
So there's an interesting thing on that, right?
And they don't pay interest on any of that money either. That's the other thing.
Oh yeah, like we pay them to take it again for the price of convenience.
Yeah.
And $1 a day is always worth more than $1 tomorrow. And so if I load my card up, I'm not gonna load my app up with $10. I gotta double click my Apple Pay and do all this stuff. I'm gonna put 25 on it at least, maybe 50 or whatever we're doing, right? Because I feel like I'm rewarding myself or getting a benefit back by using the app and the product. And dude, yeah, you might get a free cup of coffee, but a cup of coffee costs, can we cuss on this?
Yeah, go for it.
A cup of coffee is fucking 15 cents.
Yeah.
I mean, like it's actually
an actual cost.
Yeah, an actual cost.
25 cents for the cup, 15 cents for the coffee,
Maybe.
And then you're paying $4 for the convenience of some barista with a bunch of tattoos to pour it into a container, put a sleeve on it, hand it to you, and maybe write a little heart and says thank you on it. I mean, that's what you're paying.
And again, I use the app
they
because
spit in mine because I'm rude.
Those are good margins.
I mean, unbelievable margins. But like I use the app again because I want to avoid using the payment terminal that asks for a tip every time, because it bypasses all of that. Because it's like they're gonna, I'm not gonna tip you for going to the cold brew dispenser or doing this and handing me a cup. Like it's not the same thing as like if I'm at a bar where like you are a bartender getting paid as like a waitress or a server, and you get most of your money out of tips, right? Starbucks pays their employees very well. They're 100 billion plus, maybe a little less market capitalization, like public company. And I think you made a point about their cash reserves compared to American Express. That's one of my favorite stocks, actually, American Express. And I don't, just for the record, like I don't do stocks for a living. This is not financial advice. I help.
He's not representing the company that he's currently working for. This is his own personal opinion.
Yeah. I during COVID, I was a science major, right? And my little brother had always known he wanted to be an investment banker because he said, "Hey, Dad, like, how do I make the most money that I can?" And in 2008, he said, "Well, I'm pretty sure those investment bankers are going to make a lot of money that survive this crash." And so my little brother took off with that, and he dedicated his life to getting there and doing it. But during COVID, I took all the money I had that I had saved up for stuff, and I was in college. I've been working every summer. You know what I mean? Like, I was liquid a few $1,000s. I thought about selling my truck, but I didn't. But my brother and I were living at home because everybody's like, world shut down. And American Express fell to $85. And I always saw the American Express ads like, "Oh, it's the travel card." Well, who's traveling?
Nobody.
People who, well, not right now.
Yeah,
right? So
during
it's
COVID.
depressed.
Yeah.
If you believe that America survives, people will travel again. But who's their customer base? Who's the customer base of Amex?
Honestly, it's businesses. It's not single individuals. I'm gonna block out the card number unless it's on the.
I got the green one.
What's the little funny one on the funny digits on the back?
Yeah, you got.
If I can figure it out.
The 3 digits.
So, again, I'm a science kid, so I didn't know anything about the businesses at the time.
We'll block this out, but it's they do their business account.
Yeah.
Right. And you earn rewards points through. This is the only reason why I have this stupid card. That and the Chevron like fuel card. It's all a rewards based program. And
right.
I got the business card because I had I still have it. Their platinum members card or whatever. And they were like, "Oh, we see that you have a business here. If you sign up for this, we'll give you 100,000 free extra points on your personal account for opening a business account." I was like,
"Sure.
Well, that's free travel. Fuck it, why not?"
At a tenth of a penny a point. Why not?
I know, right? Exactly.
But like our thesis initially was, and this is, I'm glad you brought that up, Cap, because I ended up learning about a lot of that stuff. But
Gotcha.
I just was like sitting down thinking, like, how do I find something? How do I find the advantage here? Like, so what equities are going to be uber depressed because of the current situation? It's like, all right, travel and all other stuff, probably financials because people are going to be going into debt and using their cards. But like, whoa, people are going into debt and using their cards. Why wouldn't credit card debt rack up right now?
Sure.
So we went and looked in Amex, and turns out the people who are traveling and using those cards, again, are businesses, but also people who are able to generally afford travel. Okay, so now you're talking about a blue chip customer base.
Sure. You're not talking about a mom and pop that go to Disneyland once every 5 years to bring their kids there because it's a memorable experience.
They're not paying a premium.
Right, you're talking about guys that are going to Italy in the summer and they're vacationing, in the winter in Aspen to go skiing,
and are willing to pay on average $175 a card. Remember, we're talking about credit cards where people are using it to borrow. We have a net gain on just people signing up. That includes like the gold, silver, platinum, black, right? on their average, I think it was like at the time, they're getting $200 a card, and there's like 100 million cards out in the US or whatever. All right, well, if you're paying that every year, you've got a business model, right? Just for the luxury of using the benefit system that they have. Well, then I did a little more research. This is one of the only companies that have survived since the Civil fucking War.
Yeah.
Talk about
That's
a
an insane
management
thing.
team.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Warren Buffett always talks about three big things, right? You got to trust a management team. You got to have a competitive moat, and you have to be able to look at this company from the perspective. If I got stuck on a stranded island for 5 years, I got to come back and like not trip about it. Like, oh, I know Amex is up. That company follows those credentials. You find the alpha in the situational economic reality that we're in. Like people aren't traveling, people are selling off their all the Amex travel cards. It's like, okay, if these guys survived every war that's ever existed, we're either going to figure out COVID or like the U.S. is done. You know what I mean?
Right.
Anywho, I was just kind of going on a bit of a tangent. But you brought up Amex is like why I think it's such a great company. Of like one of my favorite stocks is just again they don't die and their customer base is sticky, and when you have a business model that's set up about they're not competing with Visa. That's not what they do, right? Like a system that keeps the customer looped in and they feel the benefits of using the lounges or their personal cards or receiving benefits from their businesses, and businesses can just credit everything. Sure. Amex doesn't really make a lot of their money off of credit card debt.
Sure.
And that's what blew my mind. It's a credit card company that's not based on debt. And so they're differentiated. Anywho, we can keep moving on all our stuff. I mean, that was my perspective.
You can kind of roll that conversation to like Costco or Sam's Club, any membership-based thing. There was an article I read. I sent you the article, Culper, about the Starbucks thing. I'll try and find the article about Costco. It was a discussion about the earnings report and how they factor in loss leaders. Like the hot dog and soda for $1.50 is been that way since the 90s. I think the CEO threatened to kill the other people if they ever raise the cost of that thing. Like, okay, well, let's
a great move as well.
Yeah, you can hire a pretty good hitman for that kind of money. But
I feel like he'd do it himself, just strangle them in the boardroom. Just you're next.
But the actual figures that they gained from just the membership, kind of impressive. The average person doesn't meet enough because you get rewards if you have certain tiers of membership at Costco and Sam's Club, and I don't remember exactly. I have a Costco membership, but I don't remember the exact like percentage of it. It's like 1.5% back or something like that. The average person doesn't spend enough there to offset the actual cost of the membership, and so that membership is not a loss leader for them. The thing that's a loss leader is the hot dog and soda or whatever it happens to be.
Food.
But their biggest in the article they were talking about their biggest moneymaker was actually the rotisserie chicken. It cost them it cost them 37 cents or 47 cents a bird. It was under 50, between 25 and 50 cents a bird.
That's impressive.
Because they're buying hundreds of thousands of them every week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
they bring them in. The rotisserie oven itself in each Costco is about $7,000, $7,500. Very rarely needs repair. The only maintenance they have to do is to wash it down at the end of the week, and other than that, they keep it running. And it's literally taking sub 50-cent chickens, throwing them on a skewer, having someone go button press for this amount of time, pulling them off, putting them in a plastic carton that costs 25 cents, and then selling them for $5 a piece.
Oh yeah.
But the convenience factor for the individual is insane. Like being able to go there and go, instead of spending 45 minutes to roast a chicken at my house, I can get something that's equally delicious to what I can make for the most part, in 45 minutes at home. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be great. It cost me $5. And I don't have to spend 45 minutes. That convenience factor is there for that item.
But the user experience. Sorry, go ahead, Cap.
But the cost is like 400% margins. It's fucking insane. It's actually insane, the economics of it.
Well, yeah. Have you looked at the economics of the Costco hot dog?
I haven't yet. No.
They haven't changed their hot dog. I don't know if you've been like when the last time
we just talked about that. Yeah, we just talked about that. It was $1.50 for a hot dog and a drink.
Yeah, but for the last 12 years, they haven't changed the price.
Right.
It's more of a marketing scheme than anything, right? Like
will.
people come in for. I mean, the hot dogs are freaking huge.
Yeah,
and
they're great.
And it's a hot dog combo. It's not just the hot dog; you get a drink with it as well for the last 12 years, and that's like a $4 or $5 billion revenue stream. But it brings people in to buy other, or like after someone's bought, their groceries at the store, they just go get a hot dog right after.
Yeah. I'll get a hot dog.
Yeah.
Or one of the giant pizzas or whatever.
It goes back into the.
LaFlash brings up the gallon water refills, and LaFlash, you've got this background history with grocery sales. That is one thing that is pretty crazy to me, is how much water costs to take in. Like yesterday, I bought 2 flats of water from Costco for whatever, $3.99 a piece, $2.99 a piece. I could have gotten the same amount of water here at my house for 10 cents.
Yeah.
But it's a convenience factor of having this disposable thing. I can drink it down, throw it in the garbage, and move on to the next one. Or, I buy these $30 cups that I probably should put water in, but really the only thing that goes in here is an adult beverage.
Sure.
But yeah, 39 cents per empty jug, and water is free outside the reserve. That's insane. That is insane.
And for them, because they have the benefit of economies of scale, right? That's the beauty of Costco. It's very cheap for them to provide you the optionality of having access to cheaper gas, cheaper water, and cheaper food. And so if you think about the user experience for Costco, right? You got a busy family, right? Costco members are typically buying in bulk. That's why they go there. It's the warehouse style. They're not trying to buy 12 Cliff Bars at $1 a piece. They're trying to buy 50 of them at 50 cents a piece because they got a minivan full of soccer kids, right? And they're trying to Costco creates the experience where I can know if I can go fill up my tank for the best price. And while it's filling up, I can go inside and get bulk food for the best unit price for my family. While I'm spending the time doing that, I pick up that rotisserie chicken or a pizza to bring home in lieu of my time spent making dinner. It's all just a great model that you can fit into your habitual schedule every other week. And it's on top of all the benefits, like, for example, go ahead.
And it's every time you go in there, it's not, you go in with 12 items, 10 items that you're planning on picking up, but then you start walking through the aisles and you're like,
the deals.
Maybe I need Tide. It's $6 off. All right, I'll pick up. I was guilty of that yesterday. I'll pick up, a thing of Tide and I'll refill my containers back at home. Or because I don't know when I'm going to get to Costco again. I got travel 2 weeks in a row. Or maybe I get a thing of, I don't know, burrito dip, or a thing of creme fraiche because it sounds something
samples.
I should try, right? Or they give you this pretzel bite thing, and you go buy 2 packages of it because it was so good. Although you have no intention of eating them again. Their fruit section's pretty phenomenal too. And it's all those little things tied together that make it a great store to go to. And it's also the convenience. Like the average Walmart has, I think it was 40,000 items that they have to maintain stock of. Costco's got 500 items or something like that. Somebody can fact check me on that. I'm sure Culper's looking it up right now. But it's a significant deviation in the amount of shit they have to sell in a store.
They're consistent.
And it's seasonal changes. So they keep the same shit for 3 months, and then they go, okay, it's summertime now. Let's break out the berry coolers and the 4th of July drinks. And then, we're into fall. Pumpkin spice bullshit's out again, and we'll put the Ugg boots out. It's this cycle, and it's
and what they have done there, right, at the I'll call it countrywide scale. I know it can be logistically different for certain states, but largely they have set up a supply chain that is unmatched. They buy at the largest economy of scale because they're keeping it simple at the pallet level. And so they're able to do deals with distributors and packagers that go to their distribution centers, just like Walmart or Amazon, and then they go out to their location. Um, because they have the reputability and consistency of that smaller cohort of inventory, so to speak, like you mentioned, Cap, they have the benefit of consistency and long-term contracts. And again, we talked about earlier about with the debt, $1 a day is worth more than $1 tomorrow. We set a contract in 2018 for water bottles, right? For 10 years. It's like a great setup and opportunity because then they can even like Costco advances their margins to the customer because of good contracts they have from their logistics.
100%. I was off by a factor of 10. The average Walmart has 100,000 different types of items in a typical store. Costco
Crazy.
has 4,000.
Well, that's why Walmart's margins are fucking like the same thing as a restaurant compared to Costco.
Do you want to guess what product sells the most at Walmart? At any given Walmart in a year?
Coca-Cola.
It's a food. Bananas.
The chickens.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, okay, I can see that because it's the first shit that's right out in front. You know, you walk in a Walmart. If you walk on the right hand side, it's always going to be the fruit section. If you walk on the left hand side, it's going to be the home goods and clothing and all the other bullshit. So yeah, they always have the bananas up front, a big little pile. That makes sense. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Costco's kind of neat, where it's a different mentality, right? They make you snake through the whole store
like
before
IKEA.
before you get back to the checkout line, but they put all of the stuff that's on sale in the front along with their big ticket items, so that once you get past those, $600 to $1,200 TVs, $1,500 PCs, they have their jewelry section, the phone section, and then stuff gets cheaper. And then all of a sudden, by the time you get to the alcohol, you go, well, actually, that $50 bottle of wine, maybe I can swing that because I didn't buy the $1,500 PC.
I got a sale on the steaks or whatever, or the deli meat that I was picking up because I was at the back of the store. I picked up shit along the way to the front of the store. Oh, by the way, in Texas, the Costco liquor store is actually its own little segmented building off to the side. Like, it's just so different. So different. But we don't have to talk the logistics of the supply chains and the economies of scale the whole time, unless you guys are really digging.
I mean, that's fun to me, personally.
I like it.
It's we're explaining how the world works, right? Like we just the theme of the last 45 minutes has been about convenience. One is talking about debt and the negatives and positives of it, and the other one is how convenience is leveraged. I mean, that could be debt as well, depending on how you pay for it, but it's more the convenience of lower prices and catering to what companies think people want, which are lower prices.
Well, everybody, look at most businesses. They're all trying to move towards subscription model services because A, of convenience, and B, for them, it's a constant reoccurring payment. Like, you can look at most video game companies are all trying to do subscription services in one shape or another. There's other ones like all those random like sleep app ones or whatever. Like, they're like, hey, get this like a cool app on your phone or whatever, and we'll send you a watch, and that watch will fucking do all the fitness ones you were talking about before as well. They're like, hey, pay for this as well. Everybody wants to move into that space because it's the most. They just have to get the most convenient tools, and then they get the consistent purchased. And it's like gyms as well. People forget about gym memberships all the time.
Yeah, if you build an app for $5,500, you market it in a way that you get Apple to pick it up. They put it on their phones, and suddenly it's the thing that everybody has to have because it's on Apple's market space. And that's the psychological factor. One of the more interesting things I read in recent times was I was trying to develop a logo for this new business idea that I had, and I had kind of generalized the concept down to a couple of different things. I wanted something a little more retro 80s look for this particular logo. And I was working with actually Happy Glamper's sister on this, and she sent me an article that talked about when Pepsi did their rebrand. They spent an exorbitant amount of money paying psychologists, paying economic and what's the word I'm looking for? Paying a bunch of
Advisors or
eggheads a
whatever.
bunch of money to try and come up with
Mhm.
the best concept for how to redefine Pepsi going into, this new era. And it's like a 105-page study on what Pepsi meant back then, what it means today, what the brand's logo has changed from when it first started to where it is now.
Yeah.
These conceptualized drawings of circles within circles and what the swirls mean to people. And you're like,
Mhm.
I don't think about that when I go to buy a soda. I go and buy a soda because it's a fizzy soft drink that has a ton of sugar in it and tastes great with rum in it, right? Like I'm not looking at it
Yeah.
and going, okay, well, I'm gonna buy Pepsi because I think the swirls and the circles are cool. I go buy Pepsi or Coke or whatever the drink is because it's the one that I like that tastes the best. Um, and so I think there's some things that maybe they go a little overboard with the psychoanalysis of, but I don't know. There's some things that they get right for sure, and it's kind of a throwing darts at a dartboard, for lack of a better term, in some aspects.
Just like stock picking.
Sure, sure.
It is.
That's, I mean, it's half it's half socioeconomics for sure, right? If 100,000 people like this company because the CEO did something really really cool for the pandas, and they buy the stock because they think it's really really cool, or they decide they're going to support the company by going out and buying their latest widget, the stock price is going to go up.
Mhm.
But if the CEO was involved in a cocaine bust with a bunch of pregnant hookers, that they're probably not going to do so well the next fiscal quarter. It's
Probably.
just a different development for sure.
I mean, I'd support that. I'd be like, yeah, I get it.
Lucky guy.
Hey,
Like
Carzzn,
I want that life for me.
What's up, Culver?
delving into your kind of financial mindset, do you have any I don't know, characters, radio hosts perhaps that you've followed over the years and gained some knowledge from for finance?
Well, Flash's point, Jordan Belford, for
Yeah.
sure. No, I'm just kidding.
Joe
Are you going to
Rogan.
do the chest
Andrew
thumping thing
Tate.
like Matthew
That would have
McConaughey?
been
I definitely do like the
Right.
shit a little bit every once in a
Gotcha.
while, but that's the Texas in me. We'll get into, we can talk about college and
Are
stuff.
you going
later,
to
but-
drive a Lincoln Navigator when you get back to Texas? Or
Well, no, I'm gonna have a fucking F-150. That's
but
that's the only-
As long as
McConaughey's
he
known
doesn't
for
do
his
the,
Lincoln
the-
Navigator
the-
and steaks now.
I know. I don't know how Lincoln finessed him, but he signed a contract and sold, which is fine. But to answer Culver's question,
You look cool doing it. Yeah, fucking.
Look, this is gonna sound like kind of ridiculous, but I actually really like Dave Ramsey.
Yeah.
I really do.
Sure.
I really do. I think his advice, augmented with your own education, his philosophy. Again, like he's a no debt guy, but if you do debt right, you can. But I just like the platform, and to keep it quick and short, his faith-based approach to life and finance. I think it's good, and I think it's generally strong advice for the everyday family here in America, and I think globally as well. But just for what I can attest to and speak relatively, I don't want to say intelligently. I definitely maybe not educated, but at least I live it. I can have a bias towards my view on it. His team really spends time to actually get people out of problems. And no one is looking for financial advice when things are going okay. They look for it whenever they're doing way too well and know they're far out of their depth or are in the shit. And I think he does a good job of both of those. But that's just the feel good.
I agree. There's a lot of principles that Ramsey has that are very I'm going to use the term agnostic, not in a religious sense, but in the sense that it can be good for anyone.
Mm-hmm. TV shows.
Well, especially if someone And not discrediting the faith-based stuff at all. I don't mean to do that in any way, shape, or form. But what I'm saying is that his approach, if you don't want to learn anything more about finances, if you follow his approach, you should be successful.
Or win the game. You win the game
Right,
if you follow
right.
that approach.
Right. And
You don't lose.
Exactly. You're not gonna fall apart at the seams at a bare minimum, you know.
Right.
And he provides that user experience week in and week out, and has for what, 30 years now,
At least.
which is an insane number to think about too. You know, like the guy's been involved in this business for quite some time now.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, for an individual to be able to come out and say, "Hey, I'm not just gonna show you, I'm gonna prove it to you that this is how you are successful." You know, granted, the guy's got a personality to go with it too, and a talk show and all this other stuff, but being able to prove it is a big thing. It's a big thing.
The thing I like about him is that he was 6 feet deep in debt.
Oh yeah.
Truly saw a decision of what would be the easiest thing to do and worked his way out of it. And yeah, he sold and sells his ideas and his voice and the way he talks and his entertainment to make money. No doubt. I mean, nobody who's really rich is fucking writing books. You know what I mean? No one who's really rich is selling courses or doing stuff. But I think the way that he's approached, he's very open about his prior experience, is a testimony for people who are in a bad space. Because I think most people who are looking at Dave Ramsey stuff are college students who don't have any money, or are families who are having a hard time. And I think that his approach to handling those situations helps them to not lose, is a great bottom line expectation that you should hold or try to encourage families to hold.
Mm-hmm.
Again, my point earlier to it being augmented to getting outsized returns or having a plan and approach. Like, there are tools you can use if you take the time to learn about them and use them. And the sad thing about the game is that the more you use those tools and the better you are at using them, the more access that you have to cheaper rates and more capital and more opportunity. So I don't think that Dave Ramsey's approach for like winning is the right thing. It's how you don't lose. And I like that a lot.
Well, he's publicly stated in the past that a lot of the advice he gives are for the majority of people. He has said, you know, like when he's being interviewed, he's not against using debt, but he's against, you know, if you are able to leverage it in a positive way. Whereas someone who's in, you know, 200 or you know, $1 million in debt. There's plenty of videos out there of people who call in who are $1 million in debt because they went to, you know, medical school or not even medical school. Like they got a PhD in, I don't even know, art studies, and they're $500,000 in debt. He's also really good at, you know, he talks about his experiences with his family and his wife and his marriage. And he always makes a point to talk about how it's our money, not my money or not her money. Like his wife didn't work outside of the house, I think, for the majority of their marriage, or if you know, all of it. But it's their money. They worked for it together. You know, it wasn't just him that built the company. It was her, you know, being there as well, whether that meant just being a support for him or actually being involved in the company in some sort of way. So,
well, and raising the kids, right? I mean, like that's, if that's the approach that you decide to take as a family,
right? Yeah,
you should align on and be on the same page about beforehand. I don't know anything about this shit because I don't have kids. What I can say is, like, my dad worked his fucking ass off, and I'm blessed to have won the game at birth. Before we ever figured it out, have parents who were invested and intentionally had their kid. You know what I mean? And like, that's a variable that you can't account for and stuff, but is, I think on that show I was hearing, like one of the single biggest predictors of staying out of debt or being able to do things. I also think, like, to that point where I'm bringing it at, is a majority of problems do derive from money problems. Like relational problems derive from money problems. A majority of them, is at least the stat that I last heard on that show. Be wrong, but if that's the case, and the home stress revolves around being in debt and other things and financial issues, I like that Dave teaches like we're trying to solve the situation at home and making sure that the home's a good place to be, and the kids don't feel the stress of the mortgage, and the kids don't feel the stress of the school. And I don't know. That just means a lot to me, and I think that that's a winning recipe to not lose. And if you don't lose and your kids have a fresh, or at least like a even playing field start, they're actually very ahead because you're not worried about those things, and they don't feel the pressure of trying to save their parents or other things. Like they have the freedom to go do it and make a mistake, like trying to think I'm going to go spend money on a science program to go be a dentist, but have the flexibility that I'm not letting anybody down to change my career path. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, the simple act of creating a budget can fix potentially all of your problems, but also set your kids up for success if that's what you're teaching them. You know,
Yeah, that's what you
eventually
wanna
just go
do.
over what budget, like even if it's an Excel sheet, just laying out all of your, going through your bank statements, seeing what you can call out, seeing those subscriptions that, you know, as we were talking about before, you didn't realize they were there, amounts up to, you know, $150 a month. Well, it's $150 you're saving. You know, you can buy your kids that equipment that they needed for that sports program or whatever. You know, so simple things like that.
Yeah,
It's not about the money. It's about what the money allows you to do, right? Like
exactly.
it's um the statement, what is it, like what's the statement, like,
Optionality.
yeah, but like money, people say money doesn't make you happy, but what the money provides or allows you to do makes you happy, something like that. I see that the same way with just
Exactly why
finances.
debt being like the thing to stay away from is the point. Like money doesn't more money, more problems, right? No doubt. But if you owe people money,
Yeah.
you got
Money solves a
problems.
lot of problems, though.
You got problems.
Well,
Money solves a lot of those problems, though.
Money
I
does. Money does.
for
But
for those that aren't aware, Ozzy is also a closeted investor. He's been real quiet through this whole session, but it is something that he is also passionate about. So just wanted to make that known. You want to speak your
Nah.
piece, here, Ozzy, or you gonna let us suffer in silence?
No, I'm gonna let you suffer in silence. I've actually got a great story about like more money, more problems. Like there's a chick that I still work with. At one point though, like her finances was so bad, she was one of those people who had two credit cards and was just paying one off after the other and just like rotating and bouncing between the two. So when her paycheck would come in, it'd go to the credit card to then pay off the other credit card. And it's just like, what the? And like, I like couldn't fathom it. I'm like, how'd you get into this position? And then it's just one of those people that was just like, oh well, you know, I just it's like I actually don't. Like,
It
you're
just
telling me a
happens.
bunch of things where you
It,
just
it,
like at some,
oh.
it just got away from me. It's like what?
Did it though?
Anyway,
What did you
recently,
watch to
back,
get away from you?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, so they got lucky enough a little bit of a payout from an injury they sustained, and they're like, oh sweet, now I have like like this amount of money, and that was at the end of last year, and I was talking to them, and they're like, hey, I've already spent like an absorbent amount of money, like 20 grand already, and it's only like May, and it's like you don't own your house or anything, like what do you like? Oh, I bought a new bike and I bought jewelry. I was like she went from like being underwater, got the money, and is now like, woo, I'm on the boat. But then just like she's drilling a fucking hole in the goddamn bottom of it. It's like, you know, nest egg some of that. Put like invest in something. Like do anything other than your current activity that is about to drive you all the way back.
literally not
It's
spending
just
money would have been
bizarre.
a better decision.
Yeah. But like the other thing as well is like when people get money and then they don't nest egg it or square it away or do something with it. It's like Cap said, you know, oh, I get a deck collection, I get a loan or whatever to pay off my 400,000. Now I have 100,000. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, fucking think about it. You still have that fucking debt from that loan. Like, yeah, but I paid off all the other ones. I can get another one. It's like, no, fucking running and bouncing between things is ridiculous. I try to live debt free as well. Like I always put away $1,000 from my paycheck into a savings account that says "Do not touch." That's the name of the account. And
Now,
at one point,
is that
I
is that
locked
a
it where I could
grand
never.
Australian didgeridoos, or is that a grand
Yeah,
real money?
that's 1,000 bottle caps. Which converts to NCR dollars at like 63 cents or something. But it's still my money. It's still
It's
still
spendable in
and then
Australia.
like
Got
yeah,
it.
I
Understood.
tried and then I just do the things like try not to gamble at all. Uh, I did investments for a little bit. It got to the point though when like I was getting home from work, still like, and then hopping on the computer like fucking trying to day trade. Essentially, as a second job. It just got to the point where I was like, man, I think the highest I've gone up to is like 500 grand in the investment account, and I was like, fuck, man, I can't do it anymore. I just want to come home, fucking have a wank, and play Call of Duty and get killed by a 13-year-old.
Was that during
Fucking call me
COVID?
a slur. I don't.
No,
Yeah,
during COVID, he
yeah,
was too busy
yeah.
buying. He was too busy buying ships on a certain game that he doesn't like to talk
Oh,
about
okay,
anymore.
gotcha.
Yeah. It's like, yeah. We should go around and talk about the stupidest purchases we've ever
But
made.
those were
I'm gonna say
investments.
Starsism, absolutely.
All right, you want to?
No,
We can do that.
no,
We
they
can do
were.
that. Do you want
Yeah,
to start, or do you want me to start?
yeah, yeah. I'll start because I brought it up. I would definitely, absolutely say, without a doubt, it's the Starsism purchased. I think I purchased like when I had money working at McDonald's back in the day, I was like, yeah, I'll buy one of these packs. And this was like early in, so it's like it went from like, hey, buy this constellation for like $180. I was like, yeah, all right, cool. I'm supporting a game early. And like the next one up was like, or spend $3,000 and get the cool Idris frigate. Like, no way. Bought the 180. Then I fucking was at basic training. I had fucking money and just boredom, and they were like, hey, we're releasing a cool ship that's not the frigate, it's a smaller one, but you and your friends, it was Polaris, so it's like $450. I was like, yeah. So like all up, like, it's like almost $800 spent on fucking Starsys, and a game that like I haven't played in probably a decade, and I'm like, I'm never getting that money back. A game that won't release ever. It can't. It just can't release. If it releases, I'm never getting that money back.
The servers will die.
Never ever.
Yeah. All
Yeah.
right. What? So we're gonna do two
That's
questions. We'll
stupidest
ask what's the stupidest purchase, and then what's the thing that you've gotten the best deal on. I think we'll do that. So
Ooh.
the stupidest purchase I ever did. We'll do the stupidest purchase first, and then we'll circle back.
Yep.
The stupidest purchase I ever bought was a 1971 Ford Fiesta. That was my first car. It was banana yellow. It was a hatchback. It had a 4-cylinder motor in it that blew up about a month into owning it. I had no experience whatsoever outside of auto shop on working on cars, but I decided that I could work on this thing and I could put a motor back in it. So I went to Pick and Pull.
I can fix her.
Yeah, exactly. I can change her. I can make her better. I went to Pick and Pull and I found a 281 V8 out of some Ford Torino or whatever that was junked there, and I pulled this motor out and I put it in this tiny little car. And going from a little 4-cylinder that might have made like 105 horsepower to a 281 V8 that we had put this Holly high rise on and had cammed and was running, headers with cherry bombs in the rear, probably making 250 horsepower, was a pretty big change. The problem was I and my, other 16-year-old friends didn't know what we were doing. And so we put this motor in there and it ran great for about 6 months. And then all of a sudden, every time you'd go up a hill, it would overheat. Turns out when you do something like that to a car, you're supposed to replace all of the gaskets, not just like some of the gaskets. As a 16-year-old, I didn't know that. I was just like, hey, if I take the heads off, I can probably just put them back on there, right? Should be fine. Turns out, no, you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to replace all of the things that you take apart. And I ended up selling that car for less than I paid for it. I did get several months of really good fun out of it. We or no, I'm sorry, I didn't end up selling that car. We thrashed the shit out of that car in the backwoods.
Mhm.
I ended up selling the car. I got after that and then bought a truck. But since it would overheat all the time, we just let it boil over and we took it up into the woods back behind my grandparents' property. We lived up near some national park with Forest Service roads and shit going throughout it. And we thought we were like rally car drivers, and so there's no cage in this car. It's just an all steel, shitty little vehicle from the '70s, bashing it up against trees, hitting corners, hoping we're not going to go off a 50-foot cliff. Yeah,
Jesus.
that car
Living life.
was fun. However, it was probably the dumbest purchase I've ever made. What do you got, Carzzn?
But you got your fun. You got your fun out of it at least.
Yeah, but I spent like $2,500 in the car, and then I spent like another $2,500.
I still haven't
putting
had
the engine
fun
in it.
playing Star Citizen, so I'm still in the loss. Like I'm still in the fucking red.
Fair
This
enough.
might be a
Fair
good segue into the second segment of this discussion. But I've done some pretty stupid stuff in Vegas, for sure.
Oh, well, that's not a purchase. That's you're donating money.
Not
What's
like
the
one.
dumbest? What's the dumbest purchase you've made? You're not
Dumbest
gonna
purchase?
Yeah, like how you
you're
said,
not gonna
donating
skate out.
money.
I'm not trying to skate out. I'm trying to think like I don't know, the dumbest purchase that I've ever made. Trying to like, I feel like if it's been generally, I want to have like a good story for
Pretty
it.
good.
But I'd say probably okay. The dumbest purchase I've ever made was a vacation to the Hamptons in New York City. In New York, we
That's reasonable.
had a group of friends together to go rent this summer house. Bullshit, fucking, you know.
You wanted to go to the
20
Hamptons in the
rooms,
summer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful home, backyard, pretty. We'd be playing football, grilling, pooling, all this other stuff. We paid an exuberant, and I was talking to this girl at the time. The girl I'm currently still, wanting to wife up. And
Always a girl.
so I just was like, you should just come. Don't worry about it. I got it. You know what I'm saying? Like it'd be good. Again, I'm a second year
You've never
banker.
made me come.
I'm a second year banker, Thanks, Ozzy. I appreciate that. I hope she's not watching. I told her to tell her I was going to be doing this tonight.
Oh, sorry.
No, I'm just joking. It's all good.
That'd be funny.
You didn't get her pregnant yet. Anyway, keep going.
That's the key word there.
There's time.
We all get out there. People were training. We got a group of like 10 whatever people. Long story short, some kid agreed to fucking pay the down payment for it and put it on his card and all that. So I Venmoed this guy and a pretty egregious amount of money for a 3-day vacation.
What are we talking here? We talking like 10 grand? We talking 5 grand? We talking $2,500?
In between
Okay.
5 and 10.
It's enough that you don't
Holy
want to say the
shit.
number. Okay, all right.
I know the. I mean, it's about pretty close, about $7,500, just to like
Okay.
for like the stay there and
For a
probably
3-day
another
vacation.
$2,500.
Wait, that's in
No.
total. You're not
No.
sending Venmoing him $5,000.
I am.
Like that's the whole thing. Oh
No.
fuck
No.
me,
Me.
Jesus Christ.
And this
Yeah.
is supposed to be like a 20-room fucking mansion. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Maybe not mansion, but like not Wolf of Wall Street mansion in the Hamptons, but like a
Anyway.
nice place. The Hamptons supposed to be nice. Anywho, we had money for going out and drinking, and we had hibachi people come and like to the house and had like a full team. That shit. It was supposed to be like a good experience. We pull up to the house, and man, this place is a shithole. I'm telling you, place is fucked. Blood on the mattresses, hair everywhere. Dogs had pissed and shit in the fucking house. I mean, we're fucking tweaking.
It's a coke dealer's fucking.
No,
mansion.
at least there would have been fun things to do there. This place was absolutely just falling apart. Not as advertised.
Jesus.
All this other stuff. It's like spring break, right? So we're hitting up Airbnb. We're trying to solve the problem, and the owner's like, "If you don't like it, you can get out." It's like, sorry, we have 20 people here. There are no Airbnbs or hotels that will take us a group of 20 tonight at 9 p.m. on a fucking Friday night. We've already tried that. Trust me, I called them before I called you.
Yeah.
none of us are sober at the moment. It's Friday night on spring break. So
Yeah.
we're having this problem. Like, dude, my master bedroom did not have a door.
Oh my
Like,
god!
I'm telling you, like just
that bad?
Yeah, that bad.
Yeah, this dude
Sinks
swindled the
didn't
shit
work.
out of you.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it looked like a demonic kid had taken crayons and drawn all over the walls. There were pictures of stick figures and shit, like getting fucking decapitated. And
Well, that's pretty funny, but
it was hilarious if I wasn't spending $2,000 a night.
yeah. If
You know what I
the
mean?
joke didn't come at the expense of fucking
My
a
wallet.
$9,000 weekend. Yeah.
And we were pumped, dude. Anywho, like,
Yeah.
places a shit show. They basically say, like, Airbnb tells us we can stay tonight because it's like you cannot remove me from where I was told to be. I have a place that's not. I had pictures. We're sending it all right. Airbnb's on our
Yeah.
side. Like, we had like the benefit of the company being on our side, so they were like, "Can you guys like rough it? You know, like where are you gonna go? None of us are.
Yeah.
We're 3 hours away from home. There aren't trains. There's not Ubers. We don't have fucking cars. What are you gonna do?" Anywho, so that was like a terrible experience. The part that's fucked. You know that kid who said he put the down payment down and had all of our money? We
Yep.
finally fight it. We move. We do all this stuff. We get the refund.
Oh, he gets the refund.
He gets the refund. Homie runs off on his friend group, dude. Steals
Oh,
$20,000, basically, from all
Says,
of us.
Go fuck yourself. That's fucked.
And I've talked to him
What a-
like, hey
what a
man, look, I don't even need all the
great
money back.
piece of
Like,
shit.
I just want to understand what happened. Like, man to man. Like, and like Cap, Austin, you guys know me. Like, I'm not banging on this guy's door being like, you give me my money back or whatever. I
I
want to
would.
do that. But also, like, I think it's
I
like
would have just hit him with a car and be like, "Hey man, can I
Well,
get that money now?"
what I'm
Or do
getting
you
at
need
is
it
like,
for
if
medical?"
you know me, is like, I'm
Yeah.
gonna try to talk first and have a conversation
Yeah.
about how let's approach this. Like,
Roll
how can I help you deal with all
with
these
the
other
charisma
people?
check.
Let me be on your side for a minute and figure out how to handle the situation. And he like made up some lie that he had to take care of his grandmother's funeral and all this other stuff. I'm like, oh my god, like, you know, whatever. We see this piece of shit out and about in New York City.
Living life.
Bottle
Living
service.
it up.
And I'll leave the story there. I didn't get the money.
I would have killed his grandma there. Be like, there you go.
But I might have a watch.
Jesus, Ozzy.
And I'll leave the story
What?
there. That was my single worst spend of money ever.
He needs the funeral. I'll help him out. I'll give him that funeral.
Well, dude, like to have a terrible vacation, get the refund, and have the money stolen. That's the worst spend of money I've
Yeah.
ever had in my life.
That's
For
fair.
sure.
That's reasonable, hands down. Yeah, that's worse than my
Yeah,
car.
that's definitely.
No, that's not. I mean,
Yeah.
it was just a terrible, terrible experience. I'm in the bed with this, like, I'm just saying, dude, like, when there's hair in
Blood-stained
the
bed.
bed and there's blood stains, there's
Oh.
like shit and piss in the house. Like, there are puppy pads on other people's beds. You know, like, the place is trashed. You know, they had the fucking audacity to tell us that we drink their alcohol. And like,
That's
make up a
awesome.
bunch of
That's-
like, this is like
yeah.
a trap house. Like, we got just
Not
absolutely
just making it miserable,
Yeah.
but doubling down is a Chad move for sure.
They said that we turned the
I
cameras
definitely-
off and left the
yeah.
trash everywhere. It was like, honey, the fucking electricity wasn't on. Like, when we
Yeah.
got there. Like, what do you mean?
yeah.
Damn.
That would be the move. That would be the move that I would do. I'd be like, just a piece of shit, like a house owner, putting it up. I've used the same photos that I had when fucking I bought the property from this real estate agent. The watermark's still at the bottom. And I'm just like, I actually don't care. And every time you come, I'll be like, yeah, they drank all the alcohol. It's like, there was no alcohol. It's like,
You
yes.
didn't leave
Archie
us
drank it.
fucking Grey Goose to sip on. Dude, it's spring break. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, they broke my $3,000 golf clubs. You don't golf. Yeah, but
You don't.
Yeah, they don't know that.
Where are
You
the
don't
clubs?
you don't know that. Maybe I do.
It was
Maybe
it
I
was
would've-
a
I would've
distinguished
started.
experience. If the lesson learned
Yeah.
is you should book Airbnbs and deal with the problem, so people don't have. I know, Cap. Maybe that doesn't apply to you.
No, listen. I had my own problems with that Airbnb thing with other people, which it's fine. I've made the decision, the adult decision, which is if we do another get together, I am not booking the Airbnb again. Someone else could book it. I've
and the
dealt with
headache.
it
Well,
I
that's
respect.
what I'm
twice
doing.
now, and it's a problem both times. If you're expecting money back from other people, when I've done Airbnb and I don't expect any money from anybody, I'm just getting the house, and if you want to show up, you show up. It's cool. It's right on. But if like they're expecting money, you're expecting people to behave. The group that you bring together has this kind of
Good
mixed
luck.
age range, right? And not saying that people here can't be trusted with that sort of thing, because the vast majority of folks can. There are some folks that allow their age to show a little bit more than they probably should, and that's okay.
Slip
okay.
a little bourbon in,
Yeah, lack of
you never know what you're
inhibitions.
gonna get. Right? You
Yeah,
know what I
you
mean?
vomit all over
Oh,
a
yeah.
$200, priceless quilt that the owner's grandmother put there, or I don't know.
Well, that's a crazy move by an Airbnb owner to put like family memorabilia in the house.
Well, where we were staying
Yeah.
at was like it was an old
Family
convent,
hell.
and it was like one of those things where like the owner was like, "I'm so proud of this place," and it's like, I get you proud of the thing, but at the same time, like,
You're renting it out.
yeah, maybe we don't do the thing that you're thinking about doing right now. Maybe maybe just don't do that. I don't know. Crazy idea. I know. Wild concept.
Are you able to travel back to that state?
Huh?
Are you able to travel back to that state?
Oh, Maine?
I didn't want to
Yeah,
say
there's no
it.
problem.
Okay. Well,
so-
you had said once that you may not be able to.
No. Oh, because the tolls?
Well, no, because of how much you owed. You said you
tolls?
wouldn't.
Yeah, the toll.
Oh, was it the tolls? I thought okay.
Yeah, it was all tolls. It was like $1,100 or $1,200 in tolls between
Holy
Delaware,
shit.
New York, Rhode Island, like all that whole tri-state area, and it was insane. They charged me for going on the bridge and then circling around because we missed the exit, and they charged me again going on the bridge again. And I called them and I was like, "Look, I'm vacationing here. I have no idea what these tolls are. I don't know what the hell you guys are charging me. There's no clear signage. I didn't know I need to have this pass to go here. I'm not paying them." And the lady's like, "Well, if you don't pay it, then it'll go against your license." And I said, "I don't live in any of these states. What are you gonna do?" And they're like, "Well, we'll put it on your credit report." And I was like, "I'll dispute it. It's not a debt that I owe." And they're like,
Yeah.
"Well, nothing's happened.
You can't do that.
It's been 6 months.
Yeah, I can.
Nothing's happened." It's
Mhm.
like, I guess if
Watch
I get
this
pulled over,
space.
there'll be a problem there. But like, I've gotten pulled over here and it's been perfectly fine. I don't know. I'm just not worried about
I can't wait. Cap's gonna like drive through Maine one time, and then we're just gonna see on the news like a gunfight erupts, and it's just like Cap behind his truck, like, "I'm paying the fine."
You see a car driving
it.
the Cross logo on the back windshield. You're like, oh shit.
No,
Yeah.
the best thing about that whole trip
There's
was
some-
going to New York. We went to visit Carzzn, right? Because he wasn't able to make it on the trip. So I was like, you know what? We're gonna stop. We're gonna visit him. We'll have a cup of coffee. We'll grab lunch with him. Dude, I pull up in front. We're in downtown New York, and the signage on the thing says from, what was it, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. parking only for commercial vehicles. My vehicle is a commercial vehicle. It's registered as a business vehicle. It's not registered as a personal vehicle. My corporation owns the vehicle. It's a company vehicle. So I pulled up there, I park, and I'm like, "Hey, I'm doing this thing." And the guy's like, "No, you're not allowed to." And I'm like, "I think I am. I think I'm actually allowed to do this thing." And he's like, "No, I'm going to write you a ticket for it." And I was like, "Write the ticket. I'll fight it."
It was the most.
I spent, I think it was $200 in lawyer fees to fight a $160 ticket, but it was so satisfying hearing the lawyer call me afterwards, and he goes,
The principal.
"It's dropped. Don't worry about it." I was like, "All right."
The calmness in which Cap approached the situation, right? So like I'm in a stress flurry of like coming from work. I'm like, all right, I need 30 minutes, guys. Like, don't fucking like bother me. I just want to go get lunch with my buddies, right? Like, this doesn't happen all the time. Whatever. We get out, we have a lunch at a spot. It was just everybody kind of got their own thing. It was good. We were shooting the shit, had a good time. We get back and there's a fucking dude, literally standing at the vehicle, just sitting there, starting to do our work. And Cap is just like, and I'm like, I never seen Cap go to work, I don't know if this guy's gonna tear his head off or just like destroy him with his words. I wasn't sure.
Mhm.
And he's like, hey, I'm right here. And the guy is like, okay, and he's just doing his New York City fucking ticket guy thing. If you work for the government in that respect of taxing citizens, you should reevaluate your career choices. But
Well, listen,
Yes,
at the end of the day, and this is the way I approach things. If I get pulled over by a state patrol officer, if I get pulled over, I get meter maid writes me a ticket. They're going to work just like we are. They're putting their pants on the same way we are. They're doing a job that is absolutely fucking thankless, but they're getting paid for it and they're trying to support their family.
true.
I'm not going to get mad at the guy because I was doing 62 and a 45, right? Like, okay, you think that I did that? That's fine. Write me the ticket. I'm not admitting to any guilt, and then we'll do the thing, and I'll pay a lawyer to go and fight the ticket.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't paid a ticket yet in 20 years. I haven't paid a ticket. I'll pay the lawyer.
Sure.
And then they'll go research the officer's history. Is he qualified on that piece of radar detecting, or laser or radar, whatever it happens to be? Has that thing been inspected in the proper amount of time? Was it placed into the inventory SKU system? Is it licensed and connected to the vehicle that it's supposed to be? There's so many things that have to happen. And a lot of times these small departments just check the box and they don't actually go and look at it. They're just pencil whipping this, this inventory checklist when they start their shift. 90% of tickets, if you fight them, and this is a statistic that's backed up by many websites, you can go look it up. 90% of tickets, if you fight them with a lawyer, you might have to pay a small fine, but oftentimes it's not a part of your record. And it's the best way to go to keep it off of your. I mean, they made a whole freaking TV show about it on MTV with Rob Sporetti or something. They used to race cars on the highway all the time. They did this one where it was like, who could get the ticket the fastest? Did you guys ever watch those when you were a kid?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Top Gear did a fucking thing like that as well, but that was a bit different.
Yeah, this was.
Look, I'll be honest. Yeah, I love seeing those videos where dudes like are on like a bike and they just like go, they're flying, they go past the cop and they're just like, oh, that was a cop. And it's like, and even the cop's like, there's no fucking way.
Yeah, I'm not catching up. It's fine. I'm not catching up.
Yeah.
Just let him go.
This guy was so defeated, Cap. Whenever he was like, you were like, all right, no, that's fine. It's like, hey, this is a commercial vehicle. It's registered in Louisiana. I did all that sort of stuff.
Did you run the license plate? Did you check anything, or did you just write the ticket?
Oh
well, it doesn't have any signage
on the side of the car.
Where does that say it in? What law? Can you tell me what the law is that stipulates that? Because the sign here just says commercial vehicle parking only. It doesn't stipulate that I have to have a sign. And when I look up the law, it's not RCW, whatever the legal term is for it. All it states is commercial vehicles are these things, and my vehicle meets them. Guys, like I don't. Fine, I'll just pay a lawyer. I'll fight the ticket, and it's fine. Whatever. I don't care. I could. It's fine.
Actually, Jamie, pull it up where what actually happened, where Cap just drew on him instantly and fucking.
Cap pulls up the CHL. Just kidding. Sorry.
No, we. What's that meme you send me all the time? The sneaky alligator, reaching for the. Never mind. We'll get demonetized
very quickly.
Love that meme. Yeah.
Let's see.
It shouldn't be a crime. It's a silly goofy move.
And the strange thing was, I'm used to cops being cops. That guy had no gun. He had a badge. I'm not sure if it was made of metal. It might have been made of some Applebee's plastic.
It was not a metal badge.
Oh, that would be
absolutely an Olive Garden credential.
There's no pepper spray. There's no taser. It's just a rape whistle, a couple of quarters, so he can call someone if he needs help, and that's it.
He didn't even contest anything you said. He just went,
no.
Huh.
He would have panicked as well when he grabbed the whistle and hold the end that he's supposed to So it's just...
he was panicking the whole time, dude. He was panicking the whole time.
I don't know.
Imagine that you're a meter maid. It's like you can't park here. This is a business location. I have a gun. Fair enough.
At the end of the day, the guy's just a normal dude trying to do a job to go home.
He was a normal
mom and kids. And there's no sense in fucking berating the guy. Just, okay, write me the ticket.
Give me the ticket. It was the most calm give me the ticket I've ever seen anybody do. And I do admire you for that and your handling of the situation, because I felt terrible at the moment. I was like, "Oh, are you fucking kidding me? Like, how the hell is my boy
You
getting a ticket?"
apologized like 3 or 4 times. You're like, I'm so
I
sorry
felt
about this. And I was like,
terrible, dude.
I don't fucking care. It's fine. It's I've got the magnets. I've got the magnets to stick on the door. They're just in the truck. It's like I'm not gonna advertise.
Oh,
my
that's what you
business.
said to him. He was like, "I
Going
literally
up to
have the
Maine.
thing that you want. It's right here. Can I show it to you?" And he was like,
No, you didn't have it on when you parked. It's like,
What?
whatever, dude.
Well, like, I
Ridiculous.
still have them.
Cap is such
what
a
great
decent
mentality.
person. He literally bought me a coffee after he got a ticket. And I insisted on getting him the coffee, and he went, "No." And I went, "All right." I'm like, "Hey, like, I'm not gonna drive this one. You're the one who got taxed by the friendly New York
I have that mentality
city
of
government."
like. I have the mentality of like giving people the benefit of the doubt, maintaining like professionalism and calmness. But I am fantasizing about like breaking your knees. I'm like, yeah, it's all right. I want a regular milk, not oat milk. That's fine. That's fine.
Sure that,
and then it's like in the back of my head, I'm just like, up against the wall, comrade. Up against the wall. Kind of fucking. Yep. Sorry. Write the letter.
Block this out without. So I don't know if you could see this. This was the cheapest one, and this was one toll for $8.34.
Hey,
That was in one location. And it's like a weird tri-state amalgamation. I don't know.
Did you use Google Maps?
The taxes here don't make any sense.
Oh yeah, of course.
And you
But
turned
here's
on
the thing, like,
off
I
no
don't-
tolls, or you turned on no tolls.
I just whatever Google Maps does. I just click,
You know,
click
yeah,
the
but you
thing,
can.
punch in the address and fucking go.
Yeah.
Listen,
You can
Culper,
customize
At the end of the day, I don't care.
When it becomes a legal issue, okay, sure.
It's not though. It's not. I don't live there. I don't ever intend on living there.
If
If
sure
an
as hell won't be coming
opportunity-
back, because fuck this place.
Well, no, I'll come back to visit, but I just won't drive again. I'm not gonna. Okay, Maine and Rhode Island were the last 2 states I needed to check off my list of the 50 states in the U.S. I've been to every other one
Every
of them,
state.
and that trip I was able to knock both of those off the list. And I wanted to drive through them rather than like fly up there and spend 15 minutes in a state. I wanted to drive through them, experience, the ambiance, the things to see, and that kind of stuff. And I accomplished that. I have no intention of ever driving up there again. If I have to go that far, it was 33 hours one way.
Yeah.
If I have to do that again, I'll just get on a plane.
Yeah, just
Fly myself or go commercial. It's just there's literally no incentive for me to drive up there again. And the way New York works,
I get
Uber or
tired after like
cab-
2.5 hours of driving. I'm just like,
I mean,
Well, the train.
I'm from Texas, so I can
Or the
drive for
train.
4 hours and I get
Subway.
tired. It's about I got about 4 hours in it, and the train from New York to DC, where my lady's at, it's about 3.
I think that's a. Yeah. Well, I think it's a lost skill is using public transport. People are always like, no, it's like, dude, we can get
Well,
on a bus
not
for
a lot
like
of skill, dude.
$3.
You saw the transportation in New York. Sorry,
it's just not convenient in a lot of places. Like where I live in Louisiana, if you try to take public transportation, you'll literally go nowhere. Where I live, there is not a bus to go from where I live anywhere. Now, if I go into New Orleans, I absolutely use public transportation. I'll hop on a trolley, I'll catch a cab. They've got the little scooters and the bikes and shit. It's super convenient. The last few times I've been, I stay at the same not Airbnb, bed and breakfast. Mostly because they do like a fresh actual breakfast every morning. Like the last time I was there, it was chorizo potato hash and sweet potato French toast. Like it's crack.
Hell
You're eating crack. Like
I don't view taxis or maybe even a trolley in the same view as like public transportation.
Like a bus or like a subway.
Subways.
Nah,
buses,
it's. I reckon it's all the same. I think it's all the same. If you are not paying like, so Ubers and taxis,
Same
If you're
price.
taking a bus,
But it is in the
it's-
same aspect, sort of public transportation, only because it's a
Subsidized.
vehicle that's
Subsidized,
in it's subsidized and it's a vehicle that's in common use. It's not a vehicle that you were driving, having to find a parking space, having to park, a half a mile away from where you want to go see, walking over there, or you catch an Uber, they take you front door to where you need to go, and you get out, you go do your thing, you call another Uber, and you go to the next place. I mean, it's not a traditional sense of like public
There's
transportation.
only one though that you can get stabbed on by a homeless person, versus like the other one is
The
like
subway.
you're an individual who's contracting maybe a state subsidized asset or employee.
When you get your next vacation time, let me know. I'll take you to New Orleans. I promise you can get stabbed in an Uber.
I have been to New Orleans plenty of times, and I believe that 100%.
Actually,
I've been at the Harris Casino in New Orleans about 11 p.m. about 7 or 8 a.m. Sun was coming up. I was walking under the bridge just south of the Harris. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
I was walking the bridge. Hey man, gotta get it. I was like, I really pointed at the casino. I went, I didn't win a thing, brother. And I just kept fucking going.
Yeah, hell
I got $800 in
He's
my
like,
pocket.
yeah.
I'm in college. I'm about to go buy me a PlayStation 4. Like, I'm so excited.
Stabs you in your back and then rifles your pockets while you're bleeding out on the ground.
No, well, dude, like, we went to, with our fraternity, we went to
That's me in the
New
apocalypse,
Orleans
baby, and it's day 3.
every year. And I'll tell you, the hurricanes out there and, the shark bite drinks and
Oh,
and all
sure.
that
I
good
mean, those
stuff.
are definitely
the Butters experience.
Sure.
Just to keep it light.
Yeah.
Hilarious situations to have on Bourbon Street.
Oh yeah.
We've had, every time we've gone, we've had at least 10% of our group get pickpocketed.
Oh yeah.
Another 2.5%, 3%. It's really one dude every year. Get arrested.
Mm-hmm.
And then half of us always end up in the casino.
And every one of you is getting grifted for something, whether it's the shoe shine guy.
Yes.
The guy offering to
the drum guy.
The guy offering to clean your phone.
Mm-hmm.
I saw somebody get that one, which was really impressive. The guy goes, "Hey, I've got this new thing. It works on my phone," and he like rubs his phone in the dirt, and he like takes his spray, puts it on there, and wipes it off, and it looks really, really nice. He's got a screen protector on there that just peels off afterwards. But then you give him your phone, and he just runs off with it. Like, what did you think?
That's awesome. What a great.
What did you?
Yeah, that's like you've just been naturally selected for retarded decisions. Like why would you do this? This snake oil hustler has won. You are not the victim. You are the fucking retard. Like,
well, especially if you're talking to people you don't know after 8 p.m. on Bourbon Street.
Yeah,
you are the problem. It is not them. They didn't do anything wrong. You fucked up.
You need to come down in August.
I get it.
You've had to do the red dress one.
Beers.
We don't need to do it, but you need to go see it.
I can see it. I've been about 4 or 5 times, and I love.
No. You just need to kick back, sit on the sidewalk, have a cup, double fist in some fucking Hurricanes or whatever it is you want.
Daiquiri, little fucking whatever the thing is.
We can go through as many drive-thrus as you want. I'll load you up. It's great, but you just sit there and you watch the red dress run, and it's like every walk of humanity that you'd never want to see in a dress that is entirely too short and probably sheer in a lot of cases.
Is this Midtown New York?
Women. So it's this. So they have the red dress run in New York too, I'm assuming, but it's like, okay,
it's just every day.
I've heard it's like a phenomenon. It's not a phenomenon. It's a thing in a lot of big cities, but it's every August. It is a very entertaining sight picture into a subculture of New Orleans. And if you just sit there, have a few drinks,
smoke
a cigar and hang out, it's good. It's better than Mardi Gras.
For our audience, all 20 of them, what is a red dress run?
Oh, so a red dress run. It's I think it's a 5K run through New Orleans. However, there's 2 versions of it. The first version is like a kind of a wholesome family thing that happens earlier in the day. And you put a red dress on, and I believe they have like a 5K and then they have a marathon. Or it's a 5K and a half marathon. And you walk a walking path through New Orleans, and the goal is to finish it in a certain amount of time. It is not a sanctioned marathon by any means. It's just a loose amalgamation of people that show up in red dresses at a specific starting location that's organized on Facebook or wherever the hell they're putting it
with the
on.
Louisiana cohort.
Right, and they just put the shit
Yeah,
on there,
yeah.
and Boudreaux and Thibodeau show up in their red dresses, and they go walk this thing.
That's
And
beautiful.
they bring money in, and they donate it to a charity, which I think last year was
that's awesome.
a children's charity, which was really cool for the local children's network hospitals. It was actually kind of nice.
That's great.
But then, as the evening goes on, there's the unofficial Red Dress Run, which is a series of bar stops. It's 14 bars through downtown New Orleans. Most of them are on Bourbon Street and the adjacent streets. And you have to have a drink at each location before the end of the night. And what's great is about 10:30 or 11 p.m. is where you start seeing the people that shouldn't be drinking really dipping off. And then about 2 a.m. is when, about 1:15 is when the fights start to break out.
Yeah.
About 2 p.m., if you're not out of that location by 2 p.m., you're going to hear gunshots. You probably should just leave.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's a great experience.
That's a
honestly,
blast.
Phenomenal.
So is that the next SquadOps get together?
No.
Travel
It's
trip?
August. It's August. I'd take a handful of people, but I'm not taking 20 people and being feeling responsible for making sure everybody gets home at the end of the night.
Look, if you want to go to the Harris after we go to Bourbon Street, I'll go to New Orleans. That's my only deal. Every single time I've gone.
I've got a room here you can crash at. Hopefully my new place will be finished before then. You're welcome to come. There's 5 bedrooms over there. You can pick one and sleep in it.
Say less, dude. Say less.
You should have told me, and I would have flipped my flight. I would have been like, well, yeah, I'll fly out of fucking New Orleans.
Yeah, DC, man. Let's go to.
You guys are welcome anytime. You guys are welcome anytime. Fly into Lafayette though. Don't fly into New Orleans. New Orleans.
It'll be better whenever It'll be better.
And the new house.
Yeah, whatever.
And the new house is 30 minutes from the airport, which is great.
Oh, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Awesome. Well, I'll have a look at the Qantas app and
this August may be hard for me. But I am looking at getting back to Texas.
You're good. Whenever you're around. Listen, it doesn't have to be August. If you want to come to New Orleans, let me know. Fly into Lafayette. I'll drive us there. We'll get a hotel, bed and breakfast, Airbnb, whatever you guys want. We'll hang out, shoot the shit. A couple of days. It's no big deal. I've met many people there.
One of my best
many
friends.
people there on a regular
basis.
basis.
I was entire life went to.
I was thinking we all get together and spend $9,000 each in the Hamptons. What do you name for that?
No, we're not doing that. Look, the minute I leave New York, and I know where this is on stream, and I know this is on the internet, but I've also told my bosses this. The minute I leave New York, will be the last time I'm here. I'm never coming back.
You're like, see ya.
Well, look, I've lived here for fucking feels like 20% of my life at this point.
Well, you've lived in the city. You haven't really lived in New York.
No, the state itself is probably a totally different thing. But Manhattan is its own identity, and they will tell you that.
Yep.
And when people ask me, you live in Manhattan? No, I just work here, bro. I just work here. But
it was the same for me. There was like no,
go for it, Ozzy. You're delayed.
Yeah, no. I was it was like an opportunity. They were like, hey, there's this like cool posting. You can go down to Melbourne and fucking like, do blah blah. It's like, hey, you're from there. I was like, yeah. It's like, man, you'd love that, eh? It's like, fuck that, dude. I don't want to go back there. I spent my entire youth there, man. I'm done. I'm clocked out. Send me anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Send me to a fucking Barnabas. Send me to Alaska.
You
I mean, every time. I mean, Norna is a.
All right.
Yeah.
So
no,
maybe.
No, I go home every time. Yeah, she's only got a couple of years left. 97. God bless her. One of those salt of the earth women, just like fucking still cooking at 97, being like, are you married yet? I'm like, no. And I don't have the heart to tell her, like, I wake up and I'm like, I wish I died.
Did you tell her hello for me last time, or did you skate through that one?
I did. I was like, oh, well, I was very vague. I was like, a lot of the people, said hello, because it gives me, like, food to take back. She's like, are they feeding? I was like, no. It's like, okay, we go. And we, like, sort of, like, waddle out to, and, like, she's, like, a short net, like, she's, like, been shrinking and shrinking. Yeah. She's, like, 5'3", an old Italian lady. I'm just like, I'm the, we open up the freezer. It's like, that one's for you, that one's for you, that one. And it's just like, it's fucking lasagnas, polpettes, strudel. And she's like, you take back. Yeah. It's like, you take back to the base and you feed them. I'm like, yes, Nonna, yes. And then I
No
get
one
back,
else
I'm
is
like,
eating.
you guys can have the fucking scraps, cunts. If I'm full, you get whatever's left.
This is why we were talking earlier. I was like, "Yo, hey, is Ozzy coming through?" I want to make sure we get the Ozzy in here.
Oh god.
Well, speaking of the Harris, and I know we have the stream as marked as gambling. I'm not saying
That's
we have
true.
to do it. I'm not saying we have to.
All right, where we going? What's the website?
God, no.
I mean, I could share a
NFTs.
screen that's arbitrarily fake money and
so for the stream, Carzzn has offered to teach me how to play craps because I typically play slots, blackjack, poker. That's it. He's like, craps is where it's at. No, it was roulette or craps. Which one?
It was craps. It's craps.
It was craps. Okay.
Well,
Because roulette's simple. It's just put money on the thing, bet, goes around the. Anyway, craps.
Oh,
I
no,
don't know
he
how to
didn't
play
get the
them.
number.
I know craps. I don't know the strategy for craps, so he's offered to teach me. I don't know if there's a website that we can go to that you can, showcase this particular thing.
I have
if we have like
illustrative fake money, non-real, totally doesn't impact me at all. Website that we could use to teach people the game of craps.
All right, send me a link.
Can I just share my screen?
I mean, you can.
Yes.
I was gonna totally not spend any of my
that's an
money.
option.
Don't worry, it's totally not real, and I totally haven't.
I was gonna say
capitalized
we
a potential login that works well. Is that?
I was gonna say we
cool?
hit up a tabletop simulator and just do it through that, but I went to download it and it's gonna take me an hour to download.
Oh, that would take too long.
I live
That
in
would.
the country.
We could-
web-based platforms.
Yeah.
We could also do the poker activity in here. So show me how to play craps.
Oh
and
yeah.
then, and then we can go to the
Yeah.
poker activity. I think that's a pretty good, solution.
Sure. All right. Let me. Can I share my screen?
The fuck am I
Yeah,
drinking?
yeah,
Yep.
go for it.
So this is.
I think I'm drinking. Oh, fortified wine.
It's the game of craps. This is a website that does not take real money, and this is not gambling in real life. There's a philosophy to craps, and I think it's the best table game in the casino. The single best bet in the casino, in my is
Right word.
when you're playing. You guys see my cursor while I'm moving this?
Yeah.
See how there's this off button right here?
Mhm.
In a real casino, there's a puck with
Okay.
an off and
I've seen
on button. This being off means that right now we're playing, the pass or the come or the field line.
Fucking
In
Lawn Darts with
essence-
comments.
No numbers are on.
Mhm.
I love it, Lon. Love it, Lon. In essence, right now, a 2, 3, or 12 is a problem for us. Okay, so the hardest bands of a probability, the house edges on the 3, right, is a problem. We lose.
Edges,
The idea is to roll
something of an edge on myself.
a number, hopefully 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. Another way to think of this is if you bet $10 on the pass line, again, the problem being a 12, 2, or a 3, you win on our 7 or 11, or turn the on button. So let's just do that. $10 on the pass line. We're going to hit roll. But basically, you can put money on the pass odds after a number here, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 is on.
Okay. So there's
60.
like rounds to this then. So each consecutive thing affects the next one. Okay, gotcha.
Your money stays on the table until you hit the number that we don't want to talk about while the number's on, which is 7.
Okay.
7 is the most commonly rolled and most probable number with the pair of 2 dice. I know our D&D players are very familiar with.
I was literally about to say, like, are we betting on just fucking D&D rolls?
Basically.
Because I do that.
So if
Can you imagine going to the casino and be like, I have a paladin and I want to put 3 chips on rolling the perfect 20, and everyone's like, what the fuck?
So
And then
if a
the
6 or
dealer has to be like, all right, you walk into a cave. Anyway, keep going.
no, all good. So like if a 6 or an 8 hits, the pass odds here, you can bet up to 5 times what's on the pass line.
Okay.
A 9 or a 5, 4 times.
Okay.
10 or a 4, 3 times. That's your money multiplier. Less probable, you get more money. So you get like 3 times on the 3 times double here, right? But then you get 2 times and then you get 1 time on a 6. So see how you can put 3 times or 5 times behind on a 6 and 8, but you can get paid out less because they're the next 2 most probable numbers. Is that, you feeling me?
It does. Yeah.
So I don't know. This is play money. We're just, who knows what's going on? It doesn't matter. If I put 25 on the pass, and maybe we should have like maybe going. Maybe I don't know. Anything here that we can hear. If I'm sharing my screen, can I play? I can't play copyrighted music, can I?
No, it's okay.
All right. Well, that's fine. There should be like, I thought there'd be playing, but we'll just roll the dice. So we got a 4. So 4 is on. 4 is a little nervous because it's like it's less probable than 6 and 8. But the pass line's kind of set. So the max we can do is 3 times behind. But I want to put money on 6 and 8 because like those are the most probable numbers.
Okay.
Typically, you wouldn't really put 3 times behind here, but I'm feeling good about it. We're playing on the stream. If it was 6
I'm
or 8,
feeling lucky. I'm feeling.
yeah, we're feeling lucky. So we just want to just keep rolling, and so a 9 hit. So nothing happened for us because we didn't have money on 9. I'm just gonna keep rolling the dice, and a 4 hit, and we won. So that's great. Probably shouldn't have happened.
Well, your mom, tell her to quit her job.
So the fun part here,
We win.
see how the 6 and 8 money are still out there?
Mm-hmm.
We don't lose it.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So now we just keep rolling. Right now we want a 7. Or 10 looks like it's the number. Same thing as 4.
Well, I thought the 7 was like the house's number, the one that like they're like
when the
"You get a
number's
7.
off,
Fuck you."
we want a 7. When the number's
Okay.
on,
You want
Right,
one.
gotcha. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay.
and so because we've said 7 during the on button, I'm gonna only put 25 behind. I'm not gonna put the full stack. But instead of putting another 3 behind here, I'm gonna do 5 and 9.
Okay.
No rhyme or reason. Just how you're
feeling in the moment. Gotcha.
In the moment, it's again the best bet's 6 and 8, and we haven't had a 4 and a 10. I mean, a 10 could roll, and we can make a mistake. We'll still make money, right? But we're not gonna make the most money. But we've already said the 7 word while the number's on. So any jinx that you've got,
Like saying rain
probably
outfield.
cooked. All right, so 6 hits.
Okay.
We get
Got the
30
6.
bucks.
All right.
35 bucks.
Cool. All right.
So we can let that sit. 11, fine. 9, get paid. 4, maybe we should have money on it. Hard 4, can happen. A little 9, we get 25 again, so we're making 10 bucks there. Well, actually, we won more than that. We won way more. 8 hit, we get paid. Four again. Shoot, could have been a 10. 11.
Wait, so when do you lose? So you just
know
won,
when we
obviously,
lose.
there, but like,
We're not gonna say it. We're not gonna say it.
Okay.
We're just gonna keep rolling the dice. You know what I'm saying? You see the number that we started out with 400 is over 700. There it is. Wipe the board.
at 7.
Gotcha.
7,
That's
we lost.
all the money
Right.
off the table. Okay.
That makes
Welcome
sense.
to craps.
Interesting.
That's the game. So
So now, if this
Yeah.
was theoretically real money, you'd be pulling out now, right? Or are you going to double down and keep going?
if it was, let's say if I start at 400,
You just doubled.
500 bucks, I'd probably, and have a 720, I'd probably keep playing for the night's not over. We just
Okay.
started. We're just gonna
And
have
imagine
some fun.
imagine that for like a a SquadOps meetup, but the idea is like everybody gets a body cam. They all get like we pull out money out of the SquadOps Patreon and be like, we're betting with your money, and then we just go to a casino and just play various casino games.
So why do we lose on the 3 there?
2, 12, and 3.
Ah, okay. Anything
Numbers
on that?
off.
Gotcha.
Give me a
Okay.
6. All right.
Some of the more debaucherous gamblers that I know are actually they say that it's like Baccarat is the one to do. That's the one with the plans. You aware of that?
Baccarat, I think is kind of cheese, personally. Just I don't like the.
I'm not a
YouTubers
gambler.
that I
I'm
see
a
do it all the time.
I'm a watcher.
I think it's also
the
50%.
reason that I'm not a gambler is the same reason I'm a paratrooper. Is that like I'm willing to die jumping out of the plane. I'm
So the
also
best
willing to
bet
be
right
like, I'll
here-
bet my house.
Yeah. So the best bet right here is to put money on the pass line and the pass odds for 6, and then put a little money on 8. Like a safe, fun bet would have this out, and so we're gonna win no matter what if we lose here.
Mhm.
But we're on TV, so
No
we're
matter
gonna play
what.
5 and 9 and still be up.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
Do you do any like
And we hit.
tournaments
and
or
so
anything?
we just won 150, and we get to keep the money out there. So
And then
numbers
you're
off
gonna throw it
again.
on the pass line again.
I
or
should
not?
have. And we would have won there if I did. I
Gotcha.
should have, Cap. I didn't.
I'm just understanding the economics here. That's all.
Exactly. I should have had it. The virtual casino version.
Why are
of
we
this
adding
is
another
7.
vice
So
to
4
fucking
and
Cap's
10.
list?
Man's got to have his vices. So 4 and 10 are relatively safer numbers. I see. Okay. All right. Because they're less likely to come up.
They're safer numbers,
Instead of
but
playing just
you don't
in-
see how like when the 6 rolled, I put all the money behind the pass line.
Right.
I could.
But because it's a 10,
I'm not.
sure.
We're just gonna re-roll it. So we get paid on the 6, right? So like we profited 35, but that went up 80,
Right.
right? I'm just gonna put it back in a casino. They let it ride because they don't want to do the work,
Sure.
and we lost.
Mhm.
Right. So we're
Oh,
still good.
7. See ya.
So let me see. I think that's like kind of like the big thing. Let's see. We'll hit this.
Bless you.
Roll.
Thank you.
5 is on. We're gonna play these. Put a little money behind. Kind of back to even.
Is that like the rule of like like blackjack where it's like I'm gonna
And
play
lost.
this like section, this hand, and like somebody else can't do that?
No, everybody can play together. But really, really quickly, we're kind of at a spot where that's how you play craps. And we
Carson's
can,
got back to the
div
break-even
deeper.
point. He doesn't want us to ruin his game
Mhm.
moving forward, so I get it.
Oh,
I keep
I'm
saying
gonna.
He was
keep
actually
saying
playing with
this
real
7
money
word too
with
many
the whole
times.
time.
We all did.
Yeah, he's like, shut the
but
fuck up.
All I need is Actually, hang on 1 second. I'm getting a work call. Give me just a moment, guys.
You're good.
Oh no.
So, kids, I'm going to teach you about UFC betting spreads and how you need to.
No, we're not even sponsored by them yet. Surely, if
Ugh.
we get sponsored, I'd be like, if you want to engage in debaucherous behavior, Raid Shadow Legends and Girls Frontline 2. Also, sports bet.
I need about 2 minutes to run some work stuff down. Is that cool?
Yeah, you're good, man. I mean, we're over 2 hours. If you want to, we can call it here.
Yeah,
We
you
can keep
wanna
going.
call it.
What do you want to do?
All right, we can call it here. Joe, I do need to get on this right now.
Yeah, do your thing.
But-
Sound good. We'll
Yeah.
close out. Thanks for coming.
No, I appreciate y'all.
Appreciate it.
Cap and I will riff for maybe 10 minutes. I don't
Carzzn.
know. Love you.
No, it's Carzzn. How come I have 2 different
Oh,
things on my
no.
feet?
Well, it's because you're retarded, soldier. I have dental. What do you mean you have dental? I have It's 6:33 p.m. I need you to fucking form up. Dental doesn't open until 7:40. I booked it off base. You don't own a car.
He's reading it on a piece of paper
Ow!
that he wrote it on. Yeah, exactly.
Oh
Exactly.
yeah, fucking Oh my god. It's like
No, didn't.
that thing.
Why? How are mommy
You,
and
you,
daddy?
you,
Oh god.
you want to post that picture that I sent you fucking the other night where I was like, dude, this is so funny.
Which one?
The retarded marine
Oh
in
yeah, no,
the
that was
wheelchair,
great.
dude.
That was great.
Dude, somebody else sent that to me, and I won't rat that out. But they were like, "Yo, this disease actually kills people." So this kid died before the age of 5, and I was like, "That's so funny."
Oh my god, that's terrible.
Yeah,
Hey,
You
Londarts.
realize that we
it's
are
terrible. It's
still
absolutely.
alive. You realize we are still alive. I'm just saying that.
Well, I mean, yeah. Look, it's a terrible disease. It's like I don't wish it on anybody, but like this kid's 5. He can't form a personality at this point, and someone decided to dress him up as a marine, and it's like you have
Well, it's the
misunderstood the
whole.
level of dark humor.
So here's the problem. It's the Make a Wish Foundation, right?
Yeah.
There's the old
Oh yeah.
joke about. There's the old joke about John Cena being the last thing. Never mind. I'll say it off
Mhm.
screen. And I get the dark humor portion of it, but at the same time, if that was that kid's dream, I'm okay with it, man. I'm
Oh,
good with it.
I'll support it any day of the week. Like absolutely. There's no way that I'd rob a dying kid of
Of
their
whatever the
wish.
dream is, absolutely. But at the same time, there is
However,
some humor in
I'm
there.
I'm
Yeah, I get
yeah.
it. I get it.
I'm gonna take it and be like, you will not die in vain. This is gonna be the funniest thing for the next 2 years. Look, I'm a strong believer of like, we should fulfill some of those like kids' fantasies. If one of them's like, I always wish that I could, be a marine and call in a UAV strike, I'd be like, well, I actually know a couple of
Here
UAV
we come.
guys. If you want to, and they're just like they're just there in the wheelchair, just fucking pick one, and then it's like a list. There's a list of dudes at the top. He gets to pick, and it's just that's it. Trump's there with his hand on his shoulder. He's doing his PR thing. He's like, "Go for gold, kid." He's like, "Ugh." There's some legal dude there. It's like we just fucking missed and hit Pakistan. You fucking idiots. Like, don't care. That's his dream. That's his dream. You're already a lawyer.
Make a
Fuck
wish.
off.
We made it a wish. It's fine. It's good.
Yeah. Oh, imagine going to the UN being like, "Did you guys like drone strike Pakistan?" Yeah, but it was a dying
It was a
kid's
make a
wish.
wish. It was a make a wish.
Yeah. I think he'd be hard pressed to be like, he'd be like, "We can't do that." And there'd be somebody in the crowd be like, "Ah, come on,
Really?
come on, man."
You
You know.
can't?
Hey, if you wanna send this 5-year-old cancer-ridden child to the Hague, go for gold, you piece of shit. Like, yeah, all right.
All right. Well,
But
welcome to Drunken Rants with Ozzy and Captain Morgan. We'll close out the episode with that statement. Make a Wish Foundation is an awesome thing, and we should allow them to
absolutely.
commit war crimes for the sake of children's hopes and dreams.
It's
That's what we do.
we
Our sponsor tonight
national
is
security.
it's not Lockheed Martin. It's Raytheon. I need to
I
make sure
wish.
that's clear.
Yeah.
So big shout out to Raytheon. I don't know. Anyway, thanks for all that came out to join us again. We've got a couple of fun things this weekend with Super Fop Saturday tomorrow and the SOT course. What are they calling that one, Culper?
You said it earlier.
I know it's a SOT scenario or something like that, but I can't remember what the name of the scenario is.
Yep, it is Tactical Situations SOT JTAC on May 25th.
No. This weekend.
Yeah, it's Tactical Situations, but it's Dark's Woodland Adventure.
Dark's Woodland Adventure.
Yep.
So come out for that one. Then we've got a new op next Saturday, and we've got a good one on Wednesday. So check it out, SquadOps.gg. Culper, throw the links up there before we close it out. But thanks for coming up to another episode. And Carzzn, thanks for being here. And Lon, thanks for joining us for the last 5 minutes.
I was only here because
I'm
you
trying
said
to
you finished.
be. Ah!
Ozzy's being meant by
That was-
another one of his countrymen, and it startled him for a minute.
It was so deep. You used a different mic. I was just
Great
going to say
episode,
I'll try and
lads.
get here on.
One of the best episodes. Thoroughly enjoyed listening to it. Hope it does well on various networks that we send it out on.
Yeah,
Dave.
CBS for sure. Yeah, we're gonna get it seconded by Joe Rogan here soon, I'm sure. All right, have a good night, everybody.
Dave.
Say bye.
Bye. Enjoy wine.
You're still drinking your 5 liters of wine.